All right, you guys, we are back for another episode here. We are here with a local rock star, Althia Lopez. Thank you so much for joining us, Althea.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we were just starting there before, and this is kind of unique. A lot of the people that come on, I know them pretty well. Like I know their story, and
hmm
I'm going to be super curious on this one. So, tell me about yourself. Tell me your story. What brought you to today?
So, I am, first and foremost, I am a wife. I am a mother of four children. My family comes first. I am a woman of faith. However, faith without works is nothing, right? So, I believe the reason I've been able to accomplish what I've accomplished and pushed myself is because of my faith and the family that I have that believe in me despite of myself, right? Like you need those people in your corners that are not naysayers. Like honestly, even before I came on this podcast, I'm nervous, right? I've never met you. You know,
Yep.
I do social media posts all the time, but that's very different because it's just me on my own
Yep.
platforms with people that I know. But here it's coming out of my comfort zone. But I had a little pep talk with my transaction coordinator and a good friend, Amanda. She was like, girl, get your stuff together. You got this. Like, you need those people in your corner. So
100%.
that is one of the biggest things that I felt contribute to my success.
And I want to couple that right there with something that I can, like, I've seen this in you just through your message, right? Like, because I've connected with you on social media,
Mm-hmm.
never really like with a true
No, and we're
interaction,
in Spring Hill is like yay big, not for
right?
nothing. Yeah,
You always come through that way, and even your message just now, I feel like there's so much to pull away from that. Is don't be afraid to be real, transparent,
mm-hmm.
vulnerable, no matter what the situation is,
Absolutely.
because that's what people connect with. Like this is like it's the same for all of it. There's gonna be people watching this that are like, oh my God, I can't believe how much Althea jumps on video, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like what they don't see is the stuff that we go through, right? Like the things like you had to have a pep talk, right?
Absolutely. The self doubt. You know, you have to learn to mute yourself.
Yes.
So, despite me feeling like, what the hell does James want to interview me for? You know what I
Oh,
mean? Obviously, there's something that my brand and my message is coming across that I've worked on.
yeah.
I deserve it. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, imposter syndrome is real, but despite that, the show must go on. Shut the hell up. We're gonna do this. And that's really how I run my life, my
Yeah.
business, parenting, marriage. Everything is so unknown. You don't know unless you dive in. And everyone's experience is different.
100%, man. So I applaud you for that. I feel like there's a lot to take away just from that alone, right? Is
Mhm.
really being vulnerable, being real about the struggles that we go through. But the more important thing in there that I heard is about your support structure. And now
Absolutely.
I think it sounds to me like there might be a lesson in there. Did you have to learn that over time? Like, what did that look
I
like?
did.
Let's go to the point where, because I have a feeling we might get here, is did you have to cut people out of your life?
You hit the nail on the head. Once you start to elevate yourself and start surrounding yourself with like minded people, people in your past friendships, family, you know, they're your, they're not your support system, right? Not everyone is going to be in your corner. And it hurts. It hurts because the people that you expect to be there for you the most are like, oh, who do this? Especially in the Spanish culture, right? Spanish culture, we are tough. Like you can't tell my kids something, you can't bully them because I already took care of it. And the same thing goes as you evolve. So as you evolve, people start to be like, oh, who does she think she is? Oh, she's too good for this. She's too good for that. Because I truly isolated myself for about 2 years.
Yeah.
I was MIA. I didn't go to like parties. I didn't like family events, excuse me. I didn't, I really isolated myself because I had to reinvent myself. And you can't reinvent yourself when you're surrounded by people who want to keep you the same.
Yeah.
And that was a healing journey.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I did it. It took a lot of bravery, a lot of prayer, a lot of anger, a lot of loneliness. But it's as cliche as it sounds. It was like I was kind of like in my little cocoon, and now I'm a little butterfly. And again, it goes back to your support system.
I
Surround
think,
yourself with new people, like-minded people.
and I want to, reinforce something for you there. Like, I'm blessed to hang out with a pretty crazy crew, right? Like,
Mhm.
you are, your butterfly is wide open, right? Like,
Absolutely.
when you came out, like, I love watching you. I
Thank
like,
you.
you make me laugh, you make me smile. Like your message is so beautiful that you rock, man. I just want to make sure that you know that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And you know, especially in such a competitive industry, right? Everyone thinks it's so cutthroat. I don't think of anyone as a competitor. I think of myself as my own competitor. So when it's me against you, it's me against me.
Yep.
And I don't take anything personally. I have desensitized myself because bigger levels, bigger devils, right? And if you are an emotional person, there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to remain professional and keep your poker face at all time. And realize, you know, business is business. If you and I are doing a transaction together and it falls apart, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you know, James just wanted me to fail. No, because we both want to meet at the closing table.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people from in this industry and in life in general, they take things personally, and you can't. And that in this industry has really taught me. Because in the beginning, I was like, damn, they don't like me. Like, you know what I mean? You have a lot of self doubt. But once you desensitize yourself, as bad as that sounds, that's when you really start to grow because you remove your emotions from it.
And I think, like, I've dealt with a little bit about and I think we all still do, right? Like, we want some approval is where that
Mm-hmm.
comes from. But you're right, man. When you stop, this isn't about approval. This is at the
Mm-mm.
core of it. It's about serving people, right?
Absolutely.
And when you focus on that, that goes to everybody, right? Like, your
Mm-hmm.
job isn't just to serve a real estate client. Like, if you have an agent next to you, God's called on you to, if you know how to help that person, right?
Absolutely.
You're in a store and you feel like somebody's lost or having a really tough day. Like, would it really hurt you to take a minute to see if you could turn their day around? Give them
Mm-hmm.
some uplifting words. Like, there's a lot to be said in there where, you know, our, we're fighting ourselves. We're fighting our own demons all
Absolutely.
day.
And, you know, we all wear, I know there's a Chinese proverb, I guess you would say, that everyone has three masks: the one you
Okay.
show the world, the one you show your family, and the one you hide from the world. So I try to be the one I hide from the world to everyone, because if you show that you're vulnerable, you're going to connect with a person at a whole nother level, and they're going to trust you. And then once they trust you, you establish a relationship that then turns into a transaction.
Yeah. I love it. I love
Well,
it. I love it.
yeah.
So the theme here on the show is we're talking to agents trying to help them grow. And
Mhm.
if, let's just say, we had to start over today with yourself today, right? And you're going
Mhm.
to go into a new market, whichever way you want to approach it, and we're going to get from 0 to 100,000 as fast as possible. What are some of the steps that you're going to take to do that?
First of all, you have to realize short term sacrifice for long term benefits. You know, you have to do late nights. You have to work when you don't want to work. You know, you may not be able to make every family event, everything you're invited to, because you are focused. Like, you literally have to put your blinders on. I am fortunate enough that I have older children. This is maybe a good thing or a bad thing, but my children are very independent. Like, they cook, they clean, they do their own laundry, because they know when mommy is like this, listen, here's the food, figure it out. Like, this is the grind time.
Yep.
You know, I mean, of course, I'm still there to help
Yeah.
them, but when I am on work mode, you really have, like, nothing else around you matters. And obviously, my children and my husband matter, but anything outside my household, don't come to me with gossip. Don't come to me with he said, she said. Don't come to me with what someone thinks about me, because that's not my business. So once you really eliminate all of that, you will find that inner warrior, and you'll be able to accomplish so much.
I love
And
it.
that, to me, is probably one of my biggest tips. Tune out everything, like, literally focus on your goal. When you were a child, we all had a vision about what we wanted to be, right? What was our goal before society told us, oh no, you can't be a professional chef because all you cook is chef Boyardee. You know, you can't be a homemaker because you don't know how to clean. You know what I mean? We all have that that vision that we had when we were a child.
Yep.
When I was a child, I always saw myself as an entrepreneur. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I didn't know where to turn to or anything. But as I began, you know, working for corporate America, I found that all my colleagues were coming to me for advice. And I was like the office representative. I would go to bat for them, even if it wasn't my problem, because I believe in justice.
Yeah.
So when I started to see those leadership skills in myself that other people started to see, I was like, you know what? I can do this.
Yeah.
And my vision became a reality.
I love that. And it looks like Amanda, she wanted to drop you something here. I wanted to show you.
Well, thanks. That's my homegirl right there. She gave me my pep talk. She's like, get your shit together, girl.
We all need it. We all need it.
Yeah.
And something that you tied in there was, you know, that support system really comes into play with that journey right there, right? So like if you're going to hone in and you're going to be focused, if you're going to achieve anything, let's say that you're a new agent, you're coming out here and you're trying to make it, you know, you're trying to get through the first year and set a standard. So you're going to do 15 sales, just throw a number out there. You're going to run into your circle when you start is likely going to say, man, like, are you sure did you see what happened with interest rates?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people leaving the industry. Are you sure this is the right time for you to be in? I don't think this is a good idea. And you're going to fight all these things. So like, I just wanted to connect those two things because
absolutely
so powerful with the two things you just said and putting a little baby together there where you have to find those people. And if people are doubting what you're going to accomplish, don't share your vision with them, you know?
No, and that's a good point that you said. Not everyone, for one, God gave the vision to me. He didn't give it to everyone else. If he gave it to everyone else, everyone would be aligned.
Yep.
It goes back to Noah, right? When Noah was building the ark, everybody thought he was crazy, but God gave him that vision.
Yep.
You don't have to explain your vision to anyone. So I know we all look for people's approval, but I had to literally make my own little family outside of my family within my mentor. Steve when it was time for me to transition into full-time real estate, because this honestly is only my first full-time year in real estate and I've already surpassed 6 figures. Yeah. I was doing real estate for almost 2 years part-time. So I was working at a lab from 6 to 12. I would literally change in the bathroom and then hit the road and not come home till like 7 o'clock.
Yep.
And then I was finishing my bachelor's degree. Like everybody was like, oh, you're doing too much. You're going to kill yourself. I said, don't put your limitations on me.
There we go.
What your limitations are, they're not mine. My goals and my ambitions surpass yours. So you're not going to understand what I'm saying. And that may sound cruel, but you have to be assertive. You cannot allow someone else's self-doubt and limitations on yourself. And in this industry, you know, I think we all want to quit 150 times. You know, like, let's be real. You have somebody who's going to end up homeless, like this, like there's a lot of pressure. So unless you have that warrior mindset, literally in real estate, only the strong survive. Everyone gets their license. Oh, this is easy money, baby. This is not HGTV.
No.
Don't get it. It's not. But you have to keep it going.
100%. And I think so inside of there, you know, you have to be careful. You don't have to share your vision, but I think to get to your vision faster, there are people around you.
Absolutely.
Right?
There's divine appointments. So for example, whether you're a person of faith or not, there are certain people that come into your life and you'll be like, where'd you come from? I didn't expect you here. So I used to work at a laboratory. I'm not going to say the name, just, you know, and my mentor and broker, Steve Fingerman, came in as my patient just to get his annual like blood draw. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm drawing his blood and I noticed his logo and I was like, oh, I mean, I could talk to a wall. And I was like, oh, you know, I just got my real estate license, blah, 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 blah. I started with X brokerage. And long story short, he was like, why don't you come interview with me? And I was like, well, no, I don't feel like I'm ready for that because, you know, you guys are 100% commission. You guys really don't offer, you know, classes. And, I don't know anything. Like I am a newbie. All I know is what I've learned on YouTube, really,
Yeah.
and what I've read. And he was like, just come and sit with me. And long story short, you have to have that person who believes in you despite of yourself, like I said before, and that divine appointment. Because if he never would have came in to get his annual blood work, I wouldn't be where I am today. Because where I was, that brokerage, though it's very, known, it didn't give me the support that I needed.
Yep.
And
I love that.
Don't limit yourself to opportunities. Take it. Even if you're not ready, you just take it, because you never know what God has behind it.
100%. And there, that signal, just a little personal experience of that is that that can be in front of you all the time, and it is, but it's up to you to actually open your eyes and your ears.
Absolutely.
And see that. Absolutely.
And then again, it plays that mind game, like, am I capable of being in this brokerage with this person where everyone's making, like, you're poor if you're only making six figures, like, you poor thing. These are like the big leagues, and I'm here just starting off. So that was very intimidating. Awesome. And when it was time for me to transition into being a full-time realtor, it was very scary. I had my benefits. I was moving up the corporate ladder. I actually demoted myself from office manager to just a typical phlebotomist, come and go, like I didn't want any responsibilities. And to be an office manager, people were working 10 plus years and didn't have that promotion. Here I am, just 6 months. Hey guys, I'm here, and I climb right up, because if I put my mind to something, game on. But it's a game.
Well, I'm glad. All a mental game. I'm glad you shifted to bet on yourself, right? Because there's a lot of crap. I'm thinking about like how valuable someone like you is in an organization, right? Like as an employee, But here's the problem, right? When we're employees of another business, we're helping to make somebody else wealthy. And, and we can build some wealth. I don't want to discount that. But
absolutely.
Now you're all in on yourself. You find something that you're going to scale, and you can take it to wherever you want to, right?
Absolutely.
Super
you just cannot limit yourself, and educate yourself. I try to read 3 books a month. One to inspire me, one to educate me, and one to self-development. Like, my posture, the way I present myself, like I want to grow. If you feel you are where you are and you know it all, you don't know anything, and I don't want you in my corner.
100%. Every day. I love that. So, mindset's huge, right? Diving into getting from 0 to 100,000. Now, what are some of the practical things? Like, what are some of the daily activities that you had to implement and you had to hold yourself accountable to in order to grow?
So, as cliche as this may sound, your morning routine is extremely important for your success. Nobody likes waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym, having devotional all before 6 a.m. But unless you have to feed your soul before you can nourish the world around you.
Yeah.
And once you get yourself into that routine, everything else falls into alignment.
Yep.
So once I do that, I take my kiddos to school. I have 4 children, 3 different schools. So, drop off is delightful, to say the least. But when I'm in the car, my children know if I'm on the phone, everyone hush, hush. Mom's on the phone. Mom's working. My kids see me grind 24/7. And the way I grind is for my children, because people don't realize what you tell your children and what you show your children are 2 different things. So, you always have to be willing and able to take a phone call, willing and able to, hey, I'm sorry, I'm going to drop you off at baseball. I'll be back to pick you up, but I got to go show this house. You have to be willing to jump in at any opportunity. And a lot of people were like, oh, you show houses when I get a call, I'll show you a house without even discussing your pre-approval, without even discussing anything. Because I know once I have you in front of me, I'm going to mirror your energy. I'm going to become your best friend. And that's another huge attribute to my success. You have to learn the master of mirroring. If you're talking low, I'm going to talk low. If you're like, hey girl, hey, I'll be your best friend. I'll be invited to your birthday party next week. Right? Like that is another huge point that I would give a new agent. Learn the master of psychology, compliment somebody. Hey, I don't know a damn thing about golf, but I saw one of my clients, a big dollar client, he had a golf hat on, a tailor-made hat. My niece got a golf scholarship. What the hell do I know about golf? But I started discussing my niece's, she got a scholarship. I'm so proud of her, blah, blah, blah. Got him under contract. You have to find something in common with that person.
I love it. I love it. And that is huge, right? So, mirroring energy is, how do you think you start to learn that? That's I bet that's natural for you, right?
Well,
like,
I was, thank you, Jesus. Not for nothing, but I know it does come naturally from me. But I don't listen to music. I don't really get involved in too much he said, she said. Like I said prior, I'm constantly listening to podcasts. I'm constantly educating myself. Like if you look through my social media feeds, it's empowerment quotes, it's inspirational, it's James Patterson, it's Robert Kiyosaki, it's, you name them, I'm listening to them.
Yeah.
Because they all started from nothing. But the one thing they all have in common is that warrior mindset. I'm going to conquer the world despite the world and despite myself.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And tying back over. So what are you doing? Whether it's right now or not, or in this theoretical situation, but like, what can new agents do to find new business?
To find new business?
Yeah.
Be authentic.
There we go.
Be authentic. Nobody wants someone to be like, oh, hey, this house, is crap, right? As your agent, it's crap, and you wouldn't even put your worst enemy in it. Oh, this house is so beautiful. You know how many times I walked into a house and closed the door and be like, no, we're on to the next one. Like, be authentic. Don't look for that sale.
Yep.
Look for a relationship. Establish that relationship. Because even if this buyer doesn't purchase with you, if this seller doesn't list with you, if you make them feel a certain way, like you weren't, excuse me, no offense, a used car salesman,
yep,
they're going to refer you out if they don't use you. And that to me is one of the biggest things. I see new agents come in and they grab the bull by the horns and they have this sale mentality, but they forget the most important aspect of a deal is the relationship. Nobody wants to do business with someone who they feel is pushy. No one wants to do business with someone who is not authentic.
Yeah. I love it.
So to me, that is what helped me succeed.
I love it. Anything else here you want to add for them to go deep on?
Again, limit your self-doubt despite the noise. Like literally isolate yourself, educate yourself as much as possible, surround yourself. All you need is one person to mentor you, one person to cheer you on and tell you, hey, shut the hell up. I see something in you that you don't see in yourself. And we're going to help mold you and we're going to help guide you to become who you are despite of yourself. First and foremost, authenticity, 100%. Authenticity. And I know you've seen it too, where you see these agents who swear they walk on a cloud. Baby, I'm gonna need you to humble yourself like 10 notches because we all have the same struggles. So why not just say, hey, I'm struggling with XYZ. I feel you'd be respected a lot more.
I think that's, since I came into this industry, I'm like a awesome question asker. Like I will reach out to people and I will ask, and I've always been that way. And, yeah, 100%. Like there's a big difference between, I don't care how many sales are, I don't care if somebody sold 200 homes or 2, like you can learn something from any conversation.
Absolutely.
Any conversation. And I'll tell you that the best question asker is going to win, whether it's with your clients, whether it's in Publix with somebody, whether it's with another agent. Like, Yeah, like ask the questions and work on what you're struggling with, right? Like reach out to people and ask them. But being the most knowledgeable person in the room, like,
I don't want to be in that room.
yeah, like
I don't want to be in that room.
that's no bueno there, right? Like
Yeah.
that's no fun
Because
and
you're not challenged. I like to be in a challenging situation. Like people in the past have told me, hey, you've got 2 degrees. I'm now a life coach. I have other things that I'm planning on working on. And they're like, when are you going to be content? It's not about being content. It's about mastering. Once I master something, I'm like, all right, now I'm bored. Now what's next? So you want to be around like-minded people.
100%. And I've had to think about that. I've had people ask me that. It's really at our cores, I think it's about impact, right? Like
Absolutely.
it's scaling impact. The more that we can help other people grow, like how can we do that? Because even if it's coaching, right? We do one-on-one coaching. You're going to reserve 20 hours for the week to do that. Well, what happens when those 20 hours are full and you now have a waiting list, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
now all of a sudden we get to that point and we're like, well, maybe, I've been coaching John for a while and I feel like he's really got my fundamentals down. Like maybe I should think about asking, like it's the same thing, right? We're going to
Mm-hmm.
constantly evolve and
You
grow.
have to constantly evolve, because if you feel you know it all, and if you are the smartest person in the room, if everyone's coming to you for all the answers, I don't want to be in that room anymore. I
I
want to be in a room where I feel absolutely out of my comfort zone, where I'm like, all right, I'm going to go in this room and I'm going to master it. That's the room I want to be in.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
What's the big vision, man? Well, also for you released, is it officially released, the book?
It's released as it comes out, I believe, October 12th. I have a meeting after this one. I was approached to write a co-author a book of finances and how I became a teen mom at 17. 3 kids. By 21, I purchased my house, uh, gone to college. Like literally, I have accomplishment, and all those naysayers. Hey, babe. Hey, how you doing? Right? Like that was my drive at that time. I was like, you said this, I wasn't going to accomplish anything because I was a teen mom. Watch me.
Yeah.
Like, so I was approached by She Rises Studios, and they come together, and 30 women write one chapter each on their story and how they became essentially from 0 to 100,000 and what it took to get there. My chapter, I discuss short-term sacrifices for long-term benefits, because God knows I didn't want to be in my bedroom locked up on Mother's Day writing a 9-page paper on whatever it was, but I did.
Yeah.
Right. And those are sacrifices that I had to do despite me wanting to do something else.
Yeah.
But because of those sacrifices, I was able to position myself.
I like it. And what's the big vision, or look 5 years out? What are things going to look like?
So 5 years from now, God willing, of course, first and foremost, I really would like to take my life coaching to a new level, because even in this industry, I've had some serious conversations with some bigwig agents who you wouldn't think were dealing with certain things. And to be able to give them some advice, like little old me, I've been in the industry less than 3 years. Hello. And I'm kicking ass, like not for nothing.
Oh yeah.
But to see them become vulnerable and to find that strength and retrain themselves, it's phenomenal. Like so many women, we all have a story. We all have, oh, poor thing. We all have stories that could have killed us.
Yeah.
But it's to overcome it. And a lot of women especially feel like, oh, I'm just a mom, or I'm just a wife, or nobody wants to hear me. I'm just a mom, I'm just a wife, and I'm very outspoken, very opinionated, and that's okay. That's who I am. But I also had to heal. And when you heal your trauma, when you heal forgive yourself, extend grace to yourself. Because what happens is, even in real estate, when we all done something where we're like, damn, I really messed that up. Like, I know I messed that up. I know I shouldn't have said this. I know I shouldn't have written this in the contract. But are you really going to dwell on that? And you'll be surprised. A lot of people dwell on those mistakes, and then that's it. They're done. All right, I'm done. I'm giving up. Yep. And you can't do that.
Can't run from it. I made 2 big ones this week. And
Listen,
I had to offer 2 big.
That's a whole nother episode. Yeah. That's a whole nother episode. But, you know, really, my like going back to what you said, you know, once you are authentic, people are going to want to hear what you want to say. Because I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And until you're willing to self-analyze, you're never going to grow, no matter what it is. And I just want to encourage and help women find that you can accomplish your goal despite yourself, despite your past, despite everyone like trying to bring you down. You can do it.
I love this.
Yeah.
I think that's almost the right place to leave people on, right? Like that's a great message. And, you know, is there anything you want to add before we exit out of here?
Again, just be authentic. Be authentic. Be prepared for criticism. Be prepared for criticism, because if you cannot handle criticism, don't even take a real estate class, because this industry will devour you and spit you out. You have to have tough skin. And again, you're focused on your morning routine. Write down your goals. You know, the other day I wrote my goals. I always write my goals on the back of my planner. And I forget my goals, not for nothing.
Yep.
And I was just flipping through the pages, and I've already accomplished almost 90% of my goals that I forgot. So, you know, you have to write it down.
Write that shit down.
Write it down. That's actually biblical. Like, if you have a plan and it's not written down, don't expect it to happen.
Yeah.
You have to write it down. And it's all about your mindset. Like back here, I don't know if you can really see it. I have a Banksy portrait or canvas or whatever. I'm gonna see if I can fix this, because this one here like really impacted me. Oop, this way. So it's like a child, right? We're conditioned to see the world one way.
Yeah.
Your whole life, you're conditioned to the world is black and white. Everyone around you is the same mindset. But once you turn the curtain, you know, there's a whole nother world despite yourself waiting for you. You just got to pull the curtain. So.
Heck yeah, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. I know your time is valuable, and this is going to be impactful for a bunch of people here. And I always appreciate when people want to contribute towards the community. It's awesome.
Absolutely. You have to have a servant's heart. If you don't have a servant's heart, don't bother, because it's not about the paycheck. I mean, paycheck's nice, don't get me wrong, but how many times have you had to give up money to make a deal happen? But at least you know that buyer has a home, that seller was able to move on. And to know that you impacted them, you can't put a price tag on that.
Even more valuable is sometimes there's nothing to do with real estate, but somebody needs help, right? Mm-hmm. Like sometimes a lot of our business is built around prospecting, and these people sometimes are really insane, like the way they could respond to us. And hey, let's table real estate for a while. I don't care if I ever sell you a house. Like, I know that you're not just talking to me. What's going on in your life?
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that, because the amount of women in marriages that I've been able to help from, like you said, prospecting, when you meet a client and you could see that they're weary, you could see the husband is not meeting with the wife, like been there, done that, got the t-shirt, 18 years of marriage. It's not a white picket fence and hunky-dory all the damn time. Like, no, it's not. But like real estate, only the strong survive. And just to be able to have that impact is phenomenal.
Hell yeah. Awesome, my friend. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And guys, until next week, absolutely, you'll see the replay here. See you soon.